Ms. Yu Xing from National Cheng Kung University in Thailand. 来，我们来欢迎他来。
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Yu Xing Chu, and I will be presenting our paper entitled "The Spanish Collocation Tool and Its Application in Corpus-Based Study of Spanish for Teaching and Learning." So I will be representative of my professor Huizhen Lu and Zhenan Zhong. Okay, so here is an overview of this study. So firstly, I'll introduce the background of this study, and I'll quickly do some review of previous research on collocation tool. And later, I will introduce our Spanish collocation tool developed by our team and its application in teaching and learning. And finally will be the conclusions. Okay, so learning collocations is important and it has high relevance to foreign language teaching and learning. For example, during past 2 decades, there's a growing interest in theoretical and applied linguistics. So we can see a lot of researchers have done related research regarding to the collocation related studies. But however, Lee also indicated that there's still a gap between the Spanish and English studies. There's still a lack of Spanish studies regarding the collocation tools and corpus-based collocation research. So in this paper, the purpose will be presenting our developed Spanish collocation tool and the related application. Okay, so early studies related to collocation have explored some statistical methods in natural language processing. So first, we can see Handel. He mentioned that collocation structure will be considering semantic lexical structures and the statistics. And for the Ameda Sanchez, for the extraction of collocation, we also need to consider the relation between a head and its collocated elements. And also the co-occurrence between these two words or more words and their mutual selection window size. Window size is the distance between how many words. So if the window size is 2, that means we're talking about the 2-word collocation. And also we'll talk about the frequency and statistical significance. So computational technology is used to develop new search functions that will help us to extract systematic and generalized info from a large corpora or corpora like we can think that is a huge database of the text or the words in linguistics. So Fontenelle also pointed out the calculation of a collocated words that appear before, after a head. So if the occurrence frequency of 2 words is higher than expected, so we can consider these 2 words a significant combination, or we can call it collocation formally. So, in speaking of statistical methods, McCartney et al. Talks about 3 main statistical methods, which is chi-square mutual information and log likelihood ratio. A widely cited study by Manny and Schultz indicate that chi-square could be used to modify the shortcoming of t-test. We all know about that t-test is based on the assumption of normal distribution, but chi-square is not. So we can use a chi-square to examine whether the words whether the occurrence of two words is within the competence level or not. If they're in the competence level, they should be considered as a collocation. But if they are not in the competence level, they are not seen as a collocation. Sorry for some technical problem here. So I just talked about the chi-square, and for the mutual information, we can know that the two words, they are independent or not. But there's some drawback of these statistical methods. The first one is there's still some error might occur with respect to the confidence level. And the other or okay, so doing our research, we also found that there are some low frequency words that they occur together, but they have a high score of the relevance. But high frequency words, they instead show that there's a low score. So in our study, we manually check them to avoid these kind of drawbacks. So finally, we examined two established collocation tools here. One is Sketch Engine, and the other is Globus de Español. This is so far the biggest corpus of Spanish. So the first one, Sketch Engine, can show the retrieval results with different part of speech. Part of speech is that we can know the word is a noun or verb, adjective, adverbs, etc. So second, it provides a comparison between two similar verbs with their collocated words. But it's not free for public use. If we want to use this collocation tool, we might pay some fee in order to use it. And also the setting is very complicated, so it's not very user-friendly. And for the Globus de Español, the retrieval results is listed according to the frequency. And it also provides users some sentences as examples. So users are very easily to understand the usage of the specific collocation. Also, the display is not like the Sketch Engine. It's really user-friendly. However, it's only limited to their web interfaces. Users cannot import their data for their search purpose. Okay, so in section 3, I will talk about the Spanish collocation tool developed by our team. The full name of our team is Web Mining and Multilingual Knowledge System Lab in Department of Computer Science and Information Engineering at National Cheng Kung University in Taiwan. Okay, so the design of the Spanish collocation tool, it was written in C programming language, and we can set a window size, which makes a distance between two words. So in here, we set a window size to 2, so we only examine 2 words collocation. And also, this system is designed to undertake the procedure for post-taking, so we can take each different word with their different like noun, verb, adjective, adverb, etc. And the lemmatization, lemma is the prototype of the verb. Like there's many conjugation in Spanish, so lemma is a prototype of verb in Spanish for more informative functions. Okay, so how we output the collocation? We use chi-square estimation and mutual information to test the probability of two co-occurring elements in a combination. We're under the confidence level. So first we determine the confidence level of the two close words to see whether they are collocated or not. And later, we will compare two collocation lists in order to detect any significant differences between them by calculating the mutual information or chi-square as well for each collocated pair with relative KL values. Higher scores indicate more significant difference between two lists. Instead of searching only for collocations, as I mentioned, this system can provide the post-tag searching. So we can also know that what is the post of this collocation and their lemma. So this is an interface of our system. So firstly, users can choose an algorithm to use chi-square or mutual information to do the calculation. And after the collocation list is displayed here, by clicking at the collocation, we can show the text where the collocation locate. Okay, so the full collocation list will be located at the left side of the screen. And for the rectangular parts, each collocation consists of word 1 and word 2 and their prototypes, lemma 1 and lemma 2. Post 1 and post 2 are their part of speech, etc. And at the right-hand side, where the number 4 is, which is a filter. So user can set the conditions and filling in the blanks in filter. So they can further decide, I don't want the count is less than 1, or I don't want the count is less than 10, etc. to have the personalized results. Okay. So lastly, the user needs to import two texts from two different corpora, and then we will compare the collocation from the two corpora. So we'll calculate a KL value. So if the higher absolute value of the score is, we will say the more significant the difference between the same collocation in two imported corpora is. And although our system is free for public use, and the collocation list, including the words part of speech and lemmas, however, it is currently limited to diagram. That is, we can also only calculate 2 words. So in future, we might extend more, like to phrase or n-gram. Section 4 focuses on SCT SCD Spanish collocation tool application in a corpus-based study and online teaching material. So I will elaborate more how can we apply our software to generate the personalized teaching material. So here is a corpus-based study combined with our software with existing corpora. Firstly, we demonstrate the application of the software in a corpus-based collocation study by analyzing L3 learner data. This study was intended to examine the collocation of learned and native Spanish by observing data compiled in the corpora called Taiwanese, called Taiwanese Learners Written Corpus of Spanish, Corpus Escrito de Aprendices Taiwaneses de Español. So we compare the data of the learner written text and the revised text by the native speakers of Spanish. So we can know that which collocation is overused, misused, or underused by the learner compared to the correct text revised by the native speakers of Spanish. And it is open for public since 2009, and it is accessible at the link there. So our methodology will focus on intermediate level of learners, and the words we analyze is around 36,000 words for Spanish, and half from original text written by learners, and half from the revised text corrected by the native speakers of Spanish. And because we also want to know more about the lexical and grammatical collocation, so we further divided into two groups. The first group will consist of the noun adjective, verb noun, adverb adjective, and verb adverb. And second group will be noun, preposition, etc. So by observing the results from the original and revised data through our software, we know that the collocation of the users is overused, underused, or misused. So if user overused collocation, that tells us the user should use less of those kind of collocation. So if the collocation is underused, this should be attended to by the user. So if the collocation is misused by the user, the students might need to correct them. So in addition, the result list with high positive value of KL values should be stressed in teaching and learning. So here, after compare the text of the learner's text and the revised text, we conclude a learner's developmental process of Spanish collocation. So for the lexical collocation, we concluded that the learner learned the noun adjective collocation first, then verb adverb, and adjective noun, and verb noun. And for the grammatical collocation, we concluded that learners learn the verb preposition collocation before adverb and preposition, and before the verb and verb. So in the table below, it shows our partial examples of our study. This is not a comprehensive table, it's just as an example. So as I just mentioned, that noun adjective might already have been developed at a previous level, and observe many examples related to abstract concept at the intermediate level. For example, the underlying parts. We can see that okay, so for a noun and adjective, there's a comercio exterior and experiencia especial, which is foreign trade and special experience. We conclude that these abstract concept is learned at the previous stage of the developmental process. And later, they learn adjective and noun and started to distinguish what's the difference between noun adjective and adjective noun collocation. Like buen humor, mal humor means good mood or bad mood. And nuevos amigos. Nuevos amigos is new friends. And the combination of verb and noun is learned at a later stage of developmental process, like solucionar problema, solve problem. And tomar sol, take some bath. These are developed at a later stage. So here are just some examples of our conclusion of developmental process of collocation. And finally, the results derived from the collocation list provides an example and clear direction for designing teaching material. So if there's a high absolute KL value, it means those collocations should be stressed in teaching and learning. If the value is positive, that means students should use less. And if the value is negative, students should use more. So here is our example of our teaching material. So from the search results from the Spanish collocation tool, it might be seen as an example for further developments of the online teaching material. So examples shown at the right parts of the PPT slides. Sorry, it kind of. The title calls Los recuerdos con mi familia. Those memory with my family. We include the collocation with high KL values from the collocation list into the teaching material here. And we also provide some examples just under the article. And the collocation is underlined with a hyperlink. And by clicking the hyperlink, we will show some video or some related information of that collocation. And also, the collocated elements can appear in Chinese for Taiwanese learners of Spanish. So finally, for the conclusions. Due to the current trend in corpus linguistics, Spanish collocation tool can facilitate the analysis of collocations for Spanish. It is freely downloadable, and you can freely select the statistical methods, whether it's mutual information or chi-square. And we can set a window size, but it is currently limited to 2 words. And we can search queries, including post tag and lemma information. And we can view the source text, the context of the certain collocated words to see how to use a collocation. So the present study also combined the SCT and the L3 Taiwanese student written corpus of Spanish to obtain results in a systematic approach. By using the SCT in the study, we derived a learner sequence and found patterns in learners' collocation uses in contrast with those used by native speakers. So lastly, by using the Spanish collocation tool, the pedagogical implications of the search results and usage inclination for Taiwanese learners of Spanish have helped us for the developments of online multimedia material for learning Spanish collocations. And the examples I just provided in the previous page might be seen as an example for the prototype for designing a more related teaching material. So finally, it is hoped that researchers and the teachers with the same interest can be benefited from the software in data analysis and teaching material design. And this slide includes references of this study. We are grateful for the grants from the following research projects and Professor Lu Wenxiang and Research Assistant Wang Tingshen from Computer Science Department at National Cheng-Kung University. So this is the end of this presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. And questions and comments are welcome. Thank you.
Although there was some problem with computer, the presentation is very successful and amazing. Since corpus-driven instruction is very important, so it is good to know how we can download so we need to download it. So what's the website? What address? Can you show it to us so that we know how we can download it?
It's not yet for public use.
Oh, not yet.
If anyone's interested, it's not yet for public use. I'm sorry about it, but if you are interested in trying our collocation tool, you might write an email to my professor. Sorry about that. And huizhenlu1@gmail.com is her email.
Let's take a picture first.
So you find any interest?
So what department?
Foreign languages and literature. 外文系，卢老师，卢慧珍老师。Yes, as shown in the agenda.
So, Professor Lu is a Spanish teacher.
Yes.
Okay. Are you a Spanish major too?
Pardon?
Are you Spanish major?
Well, foreign languages major, but our second foreign language is Spanish. Yes.
Hablo español poquito. ¿Cómo está?